This is Rob O'Byrne, and hopefully I'm not going to look quite as bushy and homeless as I do right now when next I see you. If you're wondering where I am, for the last 6 weeks I've been walking across Spain, which seemed like a good idea at the time. In fact, I must be a bit of a lunatic because this is the 3rd time I've done it. And what I said to the guys before I left Sydney was, I'm really not going to think about work while I'm doing this walk. And funny enough, it's about 800 kilometres. I would have done it a little bit quicker, except if I swivel around here, that other umbrella disappearing up the track is my wife Pat. Pat walks a bit slower than I do. So we've been taking it easy, and we've just about completed an 800k walk. So what the hell am I talking about on this video? It's not about hiking. What I said to the guys before I left Sydney was, I really don't intend thinking about work during this walk, but if I get any sort of bolts of lightning and great ideas, I might put some video tips together related to business. So we're 1 day away from finishing. What I'll do is collect my thoughts, and I'll see if I can draw some business lessons out of this rather long walk that we've been doing. So watch this space. One of the lessons that I've learnt doing this walk, and this is the 3rd time I've done it, that can absolutely relate to the business world, is achieving big goals. So the lady walking in front of me there, my wife Pat, is kind of 5'1", weighs about 100 pounds. I never thought for 1 minute that she would be able to walk 800 kilometres across Spain carrying a backpack. She's about 12 kilometres from finishing, and I won't say she's loved every minute of it, but she's loved most of it, and had a huge number of challenges along the way in terms of fatigue and injury and all that sort of stuff. So what's the business lesson from that? Sometimes we'll set ourselves goals, or we'll be set goals that seem absolutely insurmountable, and it can be overwhelming and very stressful. And the way that we tackle this is Pat's 2nd time walking this trail, and my 3rd. The way that we tackle this is we break it down into very easy, simple little goals. So how have we managed to walk 800 kilometres and not get stressed out? Because we're only thinking about today. We're thinking about today we're walking 20 k's to this village. Tomorrow we're walking 25 k's, 10 k's, whatever it is. And that's the immediate goal. In fact, our goal right now is to get another 2 k's to a little village called La Bacoya, and there we're going to have lunch. The goal after that is just to walk 2 or 3 k's more to our stop for the end of the day. And so what's the business lesson? We have huge goals, and it can seem a bit overwhelming. Make sure you set lots and lots of little milestones, so that you get this sense of achievement as you're going along. Wow, we covered that 10 k's really quick, or we got over that mountain and the view's great. And it's about celebrating achieving those little milestones, and enjoying the steps of that journey. So that is absolutely translatable into the business environment. Big things, break them down into little steps, each with their own little milestones. And I think we're about a K away from lunch. Okay, another business lesson from an 800 kilometre hike across Spain. What's this one? Well, it's very interesting, some of the people that we've met on this walk, and the lesson is, don't judge people too quickly, and don't judge them on first impressions. So some of the people that we've met, for example, who are absolutely going to nail this 800 kilometre walk, have been 69-year-old grandmothers, little kids, my wife coming up behind me there, who is absolutely not, into sports and fitness and things like that. So don't judge people. Definitely don't go on first impressions. This is something that I've learnt over doing this 3 times. You'd be amazed once you get to know people, their skills, their capability, their experiences, their determination. You would never guess from first impressions. So think about that in terms of the people in your team. Who do you actually want to give a go? Let them try something, give them a bit of a challenge, and you might just be surprised. So one of the big lessons I think that can apply to business is communication. And it's very interesting doing this walk with someone. So my wife Pat is just ahead of me. Previous walks that I've done like this, I've done on my own. This one's very different. Why? Because communication is really important. So I'm the sort of designated map reader and finding the right route and booking the hotels and things like that. And constantly, as we're walking along, Pat will be saying how many k's have we got to walk, or where are we going to stop for lunch, where we're staying tonight. And so it's really important to keep that communication going, because this is not an easy walk. 800 k's, you get extremely tired, you get injuries, you can get irritable, and so just like managing a big project at work, you've got to keep the team not only motivated but up to date with exactly what's happening. So it's good and bad. What's the weather going to be like tomorrow? Oh crap! It's great fun walking in the rain. So yeah, there's lots of great analogies from doing a long walk like this. One of the big lessons for me is communication. Keep the team up to date with progress, with milestones, with the successes and the failures. Give them the bad news so they can plan for it. Let them know what's coming up. So that's really important. And another lesson from a very long walk. So this one is about customer service. And you can imagine when you're walking at 800 k's across the country, you're passing through lots of little villages, you're interacting with local businesses, whether that be bed and breakfasts and hotels and hostels and places where you're going to get lunch and breakfast and so on. We've probably dealt with hundreds of different small businesses and medium-sized businesses during this journey. And what is really interesting is not just the pricing variation for very similar services, but the level of customer service. And it absolutely stands right out. There are places that we've stayed, there are meals that we've had in cafes and things that really stand out that we will go back to if we come here again because of the customer service. And a big difference was that people cared about what they were doing. They really cared about their customers, they cared about their products and services, and it showed. And yet there were businesses who thought they were better, big brand names perhaps, flashy facilities, they charged more, they just weren't as good. And it all came down to the customer service. So think about that in your business. What's the face of your business that the customers deal with? And is that face giving an impression of commitment and motivation and caring to your customers? You see, when you're hiking with everything that you need in a backpack for 800 k's, and it took us about 6 weeks because we're really slow, you've got to carry everything that you need for 6 weeks. And so if you're going to carry everything, including the kitchen sink, you're going to have a very large backpack, you're going to have a very sore back, and you're going to have very sore feet. So the aim is to try and get your backpack weight down to about 7 or 8 kilos, which is hard. So you start off thinking about really lightweight equipment and clothing. You start thinking about lightweight backpacks. You kind of lay all the stuff out and you say, do I really need this? Do I need 2 of them? Can I make do with 1? And I think this is a really good lesson, not just for backpacking and life, but for business, because we clutter ourselves with stuff. We undertake projects and we want, plan B, plan C, plan D, and all of these resources, and and so on, and maybe we don't need them all. And maybe we're trying to achieve 10 different things in this project instead of really focusing on the 2 or 3 that are vitally important. And so really the lesson from this, about the baggage, is be really careful what you cart along with you. You know, during a business career, during a project, is it really important, and is it actually going to help you achieve your goals? So don't overload your backpack. Okay, so here's another business tip learned while walking across Spain for 6 weeks, and that is take advice. One of the things that happens when you're on a really long walk like this is you get injured. It's unavoidable. You know, you're walking 20-25 k's a day, week after week after week. You get foot problems and joint problems and all kinds of things. And what we did is we sought advice from our doctor, dietist and physio and so on before we left. You know, what sort of stretching could we do? What sort of taping? What sort of medication could we get away with? And when things cropped up, we knew what to do, particularly with regard to medication. We both suffered a little bit with foot and knee problems in the last week or so, and we've had to take anti-inflammatories and painkillers and things. But our doctor had advised us exactly how to do that, you know, with and without food, the dosage, how often, you know, and all that kind of thing. So what the hell has that got to do with business? It's very simple. If you're going to undertake something that's really challenging, and maybe something you haven't done before, get professional advice. It's well worth it. We're almost done. We're just outside Santiago de Compostela, and behind me you can probably see a couple of statues on the Hill of Joy, and just over there behind those trees is Santiago. 5 k's to go. What's this tip about? Quite simply, it's about taking time out. Now look, I'm really lucky as a business owner. I can take a couple of months a year off, and I go away and do all kinds of things like this. That's not possible for most people. What I would say though, if you're a business owner, if you're a manager, you know, whatever sort of job that you're doing, try to take proper time out. Personally, I can't go and sit on a beach. I love to sit on a beach, but it's not relaxing for me. You know, I'd sit there with a business book or something. You know, I'm a bit of a nut. I need something to distract me, to take my mind off it, so off business. So I do this kind of thing. And I have to say, this is the very last day. I promised the guys back in the office, if I do some business videos, I'll do it on the final day, because I haven't been thinking about business at all for 6 weeks. Absolutely not at all. So that's why all these videos are sort of shot in a similar place. But yeah, look, taking time out is so important. So think about what it is that you can do that will distract you from business. You know, whether it's surfing or canoeing or sailing, it's probably some sort of physical activity, skiing. And make sure that you do get time out. You know, don't not take your leave. If you're a business owner and you've got a bit of flexibility, take more leave. You know, you come back refreshed and energized and much better. The business will be better for you. So really, really important lesson. There's no prizes for, you know, not taking time out. It really is. It's good for you, good for your business, good for your role, good for your team. Get away and refresh and unplug. Okay, one final business tip learnt while walking across Spain for 6 weeks. Might be a couple more if I think of them, but this one is about teamwork. Now, the first time I did this walk, I did it on my own 3 years ago. Second one, I did a sort of short version with my wife Pat. This one I've done with Pat. We walked for 6 weeks together. And why am I talking about teamwork when I'm doing something which seems like a very individual thing to do, you know, a long hike like this? It's because when you're doing a very long walk like this, shit happens. You might get lost, you know, something goes wrong with your accommodation, you might run out of food one day, you might be injured and you don't have the right sort of first aid stuff with you. Stuff will happen. And a lot of the time it's the people around you who help you overcome those, whether it's people that you're traveling with, whether it be other people on the journey who just happen to come across in the middle of nowhere. People help each other out, and most people, if you're wondering where we are, we're walking the Camino de Santiago. So we walked from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port in southern France to Santiago de Compostela, which is just over here, 5 k's away. We're almost done. And hundreds and thousands of people, 300,000 people a year walk this old pilgrimage route. And what you find is they form these little groups and families and stuff along the way, and they help each other out. And if you're sat by the road nursing an injury, people will come past you. Okay, what do you need? And so what I'm saying is this is a really big thing to achieve, a really long walk like this, and it's very rarely done totally in isolation. So think about teamwork, in your role, in your job, how you can actually help each other achieve much bigger goals, because really big goals are generally achieved through great teamwork, not individual effort.